Hi, I'm Juliana Fabio with Pilates by Juliana. I've had a lot of clients recently wanting to work on proper hip movement and in particular hip extension. So what I'm finding is a lot of us right now, because we're at home, are sitting quite a bit, either in front of the computer, in front of the television, we're driving, we're just not moving as much as we had prior to the pandemic. So I think there's a lot of people who are kind of stuck in this position. So I just wanted to focus on a little bit of hip extension. So first I want to start with proper glute recruitment. And I want to do that by doing an exercise that's pretty functional so that your glutes will actually work on their own. So if they didn't work, you fall over. And what I love to do is single leg, straightening out this leg as much as possible and thinking of the back of the knee going as far back as it can, raising this leg as far up as you can without assistance, and then lengthening out the foot. What I'm doing though, as I lengthen the foot, is I am resisting bending my standing knee. So I'm not doing this. That's very common. What I want you to do is lengthen out the leg and lengthen out the foot and bring it back. We'll do that a few more times. And what you'll find is as you stand here and you keep your leg long, the standing glute is going to start to talk to you in a very good way. So this way we're also working on some hip extension. Proper hip extension is proper glute recruitment. We'll do a few more on this side and then we'll do the other side. So I'll take you again through a few exercises that work on hip extension, but then just hip movement in general. Other side comes up, and again, you're going to take this as far up as you can, balance as well, without assistance. Really think of pressing back with that standing leg. Don't let that knee bend, that standing knee bend as you lengthen out the foot on the leg that's up. Good. So again, really trying to keep that standing leg long. It's not easy. Let's do a few more here, 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. So now I've got my glutes firing. I've also got my hip flexors firing. We're going to take it down to the mat and play around with just some a little bit of squats. So first I like to hinge from the hips. My heart is coming forward, but I'm not bending down towards the ground with my chest. What I'm doing is bringing my bottom behind me in order to get that nice hip crease. So my bottom's going to go behind me until I feel like I might fall over, but I'm not going to. And then as I bend the knees, I'm going to bring my bottom towards the floor. And at that last moment, I'm going to let my heels come up. I wish I was at a point where I could keep my heels down, but I'm not. But this is very comfortable. And coming right back up. So again, hinging from the hips, then bending the knees, dropping the bottom towards the floor. If you're experiencing pain while you're doing this, you're not going to go that far down. So go to wherever you're not going to experience pain. If you already have pre-existing knee conditions, this might not be the workout for you. And again, 1 more. Let's stay down here this time. I'm going to move over so you can see me a little bit better. What I want you to do is slowly start to lower both knees towards the floor and right back up. So I'm going to try to keep my torso upright as I lower the knees and as I bring them right back up so that I can get proper hip movement, that I'm not using momentum to bring my knees up and I'm using control to bring them down. You're also going to feel it in your feet as well. It's really great for stretching the feet. And a few more here, nice and slow down. Slowly up, working on that slow up. Let's stay down this time. And even if it means maybe one knee comes up and then the other, that's okay. You're working towards both knees slowly coming up and both knees slowly going down. If you find, you know what, I'm not there yet, I can't lift those knees, put a hand down for right now. And eventually, if you do this enough, you won't have to put that hand down anymore. Slowly come down. So I want you to not only focus on this next one, hip extension, but what's going on at the feet. I want you to really curl under those toes so they're facing back towards your knees. And you've got the big ball of the foot down. So your toes are extending back towards your knees. And you've got the big ball of the foot down. Knees are down. Press the pelvis forward, create more space on the front of the hips. The lower part of the ribs is you're gonna think of them going back just a tad. We're not gonna lean into this, but I just want you to think of the front of the ribs just funneling down and a little bit back as you raise the heart. So we're gonna keep that rib hip connection. Arms across the chest, and we're gonna do some thigh stretch. What we're doing here is keeping control as we go back and forth. And again, if you've got knee issues, this probably is not the workout for you. But it shouldn't hurt. You're gonna feel it, you're gonna feel muscle burn, that's gonna feel good. And what you wanna try to avoid is your bottom moving separately. So we're moving one unit from knees to the shoulder or to the top of the head as we bounce, and you're gonna push into the big ball of the foot. That's gonna help you stabilize. And you're probably gonna feel it if your feet aren't used to this. A few more here. 1 and 2 and 3. Let's take it down to plank. So I don't want to call these push-ups because it's probably not going to look like one too much, but it is the push-up position. What I really want you to think about is actually the position of your body. So your pelvis is going to press forward, and again, I want you to think lower ribs on the front, kind of going back a little bit, so to down and back, and pressing into the hands. So a little bit of protraction at the shoulders, but it's really about trying to keep that rib hip connection. So what we don't want to do is let everything slack down here. Don't do that. Press the pelvis forward, but bring the front of the ribs back, and that's going to keep your body solid. From here, all I want you to think about is bending the elbows and straightening them. Again, we're not quite doing a push-up per se. I don't want you to think about that. I want you to think again, keeping the body long, pelvis forward, ribs are back, bend the elbows, and straighten. And that's all we're doing. We're trying to keep stability in the core as we create instability by bending our elbows. 2, just a few more here, 3 more. 1, and you can do more if you want. 2, and 3. Now let's take this and come down onto our back. We're gonna do some bridge. We're doing hip extension in different planes. Lying on your back, long arms by your side, making sure that your head is even with the rest of your body. We don't want our head propped up in this one because it'll put a little too much strain on the neck. From here, sometimes we do a bridge where we roll up. This one we're just going to do a flat back bridge where we hinge and then back down again. Stay up this next time, stay up here. What I want you to think about, again, same thing, pressing the pelvis forward evenly, pubic bone and hip bones pressing up as the front of the ribs again goes down and back. And what that's going to do is create a straight line so we don't end up like this. What we want to do is really keep that rib hip connection here. And as long as you're pressing up with your pelvis, proper glute recruitment, and you're thinking down and back with the ribs, you're keeping your core in that long position. From here, I want you to just raise one leg by trying not to move too much. Bring the leg down and up, and again, no movement from the hips. So don't let those hips drop as the leg goes down. Try to keep everything stable. So again, we're doing the same thing. We're creating instability with that leg, and we're trying to keep stability in the core. Before we were doing it with our arms in that push-up position, now we're doing it with our legs. And one more, and I am terrible at counting, so you try to do equal number. I'm just gonna keep my form and talk through this. So again, pelvis up, front of the ribs back. You can point and flex that toe, whatever you want to do with it. And then bring it down. And this time, this will feel good. Roll everything down and knees to chest, head side to side. So that's just a few exercises to work on proper hip movement, but mostly hip extension. Again, I know we're seated a lot these days in front of computers, in cars, in front of our TV. So it's a great 5-10 minute workout to do in order to improve your hip quality and hip movement. Take care, Juliana Fabio with Pilates by Juliana.